Hello, my name is Derek Day from Classless Act, and I'm hanging out with Rob from Front Row Live.
What's up, dude? I'm so excited to get to talk to you and get to talk about the music. I'm obsessed with your band, even though it's only one song that's out in the universe.
Oh,
But congratulations with Classless Act, and especially the debut single. Talk to me about that creative process between you guys, because this is incredible. It's there's nothing else out there unless you're like an OG.
damn, that's a great way to thank you. Yeah. The creative process has been amazing and bone growing, if that makes any sense. A lot of pains and stuff because we wrote a bunch of we have like a bunch of songs that we wrote individually together as a band, and some of them are really good. Some of them were kind of like touching on other genres, and it was hard to hone in on one sound. And so after a while, we started writing with writers just to see what that felt like. And we wrote with just everybody from Hollywood to Nashville, and even further, over the Zoom and all of that. And so we kind of just really grew together and uh, learned how to write more and more. And so from our first single, we wrote that with the producer and guitar player, Keith Nelson from Buck Cherry. And he's just like our dear friend now, and we finally got to find what we're kind of trying to represent with that sort of kind of thing. But yeah, it's just a lot of crazy. We're always gonna we'll do something very classic and trying to like homage things, but at the same time we're always gonna try to twist it in some way.
Did you guys come into the studio with Keith knowing what sound you guys wanted, or did he help kind of figure out the sound that the band is all about?
We knew what we wanted, and we definitely knew what we wanted to say and like represent. But he really helped us like come together in one lane, kind of, because we're seriously all like everyone's influenced by different eras of all five of us have different like genres that we love.
Yeah.
So it was cool to have Keith Nelson and people like Joe Ciccarelli, who produced most of the album, Bob Rock, who produced the other half of the album.
What? Bob Rock?
Yeah. These guys helped. Keith produced a song on the record, wrote a lot of them with us, and then we had Joe and Bob produce the rest of the record, and we wrote like a tune with Justin Hawkins, and we wrote a tune with
Shit.
like great like a songwriting team, The Heavy, and like all these amazing artists. And all of them had this one common thing with helping us, like, okay, we like you, let's just put you here, just for at least for now, just so the audience could understand you. And it was a hard lesson too, because here I am, I'm like, no, I want to paint like the Mona Lisa. I want to paint something on top of it, and it's just like, no, hold on, wait, let's try to do something like this, or so yeah, it was just beautiful learning experience.
That's amazing, man. Like that's great. Those are some great names that you mentioned that are being part of this upcoming debut album. But before we really dive into that debut album, like talk to me a little bit about Give It to Me, and like why did you feel like this was the perfect debut single for the band? Like to me, it blew my face off, and I still can't find it. But but what made you choose this song?
You can't find your face. That's cool. Man, it's funny because that's not like our most complex song. I would say it's not our most deep song on the record. You'll hear it's not our like, it's just like this beautifully like fun song. I think everyone in the band was like, this is a nice like way to be like, hey, we're here to kick ass, and that's it, and we chose it because we're like, maybe we want to surprise you guys with the next single, maybe, or like in two singles from now, you might have something completely different. But really, it's really not that different. But we just thought like, this is a good kick open the door. We're here. You need to say hello. The first impression is always important. And I feel like that was us saying we have energy, because everyone in the band has a lot of energy. So that's just what we wanted to say.
Now, aside from your amazing vocals, I fell in love with your stage show. Your performance is incredible, and I love that I get to experience a little bit of that energy through this interview right now because you're so animated, and I love that because it portrays. Talk to me about kind of discovering yourself as an entertainer, and how did you go about that process of like becoming who you are today?
Man, okay, so I started playing guitar and like singing on the street. And I was like 13 years old when I started playing. Like I was born and raised in LA, so I like started jamming out on Santa Monica Boulevard and like, where the rich people are, try to get their money. And like but everyone, I think I got my like look at me attitude and like don't look away attitude from playing on the street because people are always shopping and they're always on their way to the movies or on their way to a dinner. So if you can make someone stop and like wait a minute, I'm gonna be late. I want to be late to see this, then you've done it. And I feel like I've just done that. I've done it for like Friday through Sunday every weekend since I was 13 to like 20. And so I was just like really just doing that and learning how to be rejected and like learning how to fight with like homeless people trying to take my bucket and shit. And so like there's a lot of that, a lot of I would say a lot of my performance comes from the streets.
Do you have in mind like your stage show, your own personal stage show, as you're writing and recording these songs, or is this something that you just let happen once you're on that stage?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. No, like every only like a couple of times. Like it would happen very like if I happen to be writing a line and I'd be like, uh well, I always try to look for shock value in lyrics
Mm.
and stuff. So that goes hand in hand with how my face is gonna look and everything. But I guess I don't think about like, ooh, and I should jump when I say this or whatever. But it's usually like I write a shocking word and I'm like, oh, and I could do something like this on stage. And then that triggers a whole other universe of like vocabulary, like a whole other thing. So like it kind of bounces off of that. I never intend to write to my performance, but then I think about it midway through writing and then I keep writing based on a performance perspective.
That makes sense. Now, talking about this upcoming debut album, again, you mentioned an incredible amount of names that are being part of this record. How did you guys come across these producers and these artists to come and be part of your debut record?
Man, we've just been so blessed with our team. We have an incredible manager, and our management team is favor the artists. And thanks to them, we got signed to Better Noise Music. Well, we signed to them when there was 11/7, and then they became Better
Mhm.
Noise Music. And they just have all these great connections. And they heard us, and honestly, like our songs were okay, but our management and our label were both like, this is good, but you just need to get better. So it's out of necessity. We're like, let's put you with a really good producer and like a really good thing. Cause you guys are like 80% there. So let's get you to 92 and then eventually not. So like, yeah, it's just a great team. Our label and our management, just they've been in the business forever. And on Better Noise, you have guys like Papa Roach and Five Finger Death Punch. You have Motley Crüe on there. So like, they happen to have these cool like connections with guys like Bob Rock who produced Motley Crue and Metallica and freaking Michael Bublé and stuff, like all these guys.
During that recording process of this debut album, how would you say that these producers challenged you, um, the band as a whole, and you personally vocally?
Absolutely. I mean, the band as a whole to think on our feet. Um, we just had to really quickly, like, we had to change things. We rehearsed before going in the studio, before going to pre-production. We rehearsed as a band 4 times a day, 4 times a week. Um, and like, this is the song, and then the producer would be like, okay, now let's change a lot of it, or at least a big half of it. And so we just had to like, do it. And personally, I learned how to like really write a song and or really utilize the importance of um, less is more. Or if you're gonna say something, or if you're gonna with whether it be a word or a musical note, make sure it's the perfect, most right thing you can say at that moment in time. Don't just be like, freaking Mozart and whatever you want, like you just got to make sure you're like saying the most important thing because it matters, and like you want to make an impact, not just show off. So I had to learn that with like lyrics and melodies. You talk to any of these guys, they'd be like, oh yeah, it was just like no 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 no, I don't know. So I had to learn about like really penetrating people's hearts with that sounded weird with the right notes and words, and in the band, how to think on our feet, how to work out, work quick and under pressure.
With this debut album, would you say that there's like a theme running through it, or is there a story for this record, or what can your fans look forward to?
This is not necessarily a concept album, but I think this is something where like the art is kind of imitating life in a way where maybe it will be a little conceptual. We didn't intend for it, but it comes out to be, because it was all written during so a lot of these themes are similar, and I think it's really I think the audience can look forward to a large range of emotions. That's what I like most about this album. You got really kick-ass happy songs, really cool party songs, but you also have really deep, like like introspective kind of songs, and you have really beautiful, like heart-wrenching love songs, and then you have a lot of songs where it's just like more introspective plus party at the same time. So it's like a lot of fusing there, and a lot of these, and also the audience could expect a lot of honesty. That's every song is just like there's no BSing anybody. Some of it's about our childhood and who we are as people, and I think people could relate to some of the subject matter.
What about vocally? Did you find yourself stepping out of your comfort zone this time around? And if so, like, how do you feel that you were able to overcome that situation?
Oh man, yeah, absolutely. I think I had to really learn how to sing like a trained vocalist and sing with like my diaphragm, and then understand. I learned that my voice, I think a lot of singers have like 100 different voices they can do, and that can be very schizophrenic at times, and you don't really know who you are. So to find who you want to sound like and who you want to be, that's been a beautiful challenge for me, and it's been like nerve-wracking. And so I just had to like learn how to sing like more trained, maybe not so aggressive when you think it should be. Maybe it's not. You kind of listen to what the instruments are doing and you kind of sing off of that. You don't have to push as hard as the electric guitar is pushing and stuff, and back and forth like that.
There's so much energy coming out of the band, the performance, the live show, I'm assuming, and you guys are getting ready to go on your first ever tour. And following that first ever tour, you're going to go on your first ever stadium tour. So, how are you guys prepping for this? How are you guys able to, keep the energy going, but not drain yourselves during this process?
Man, well, for me personally, there's 5 dudes. So I don't know, like we're all right now we're all working to get money in our pockets to make sure we can eat on a tour. But we're also rehearsing like daily. Like every single day we're working on our one set list, and we're just trying to like nail it. And personally, like I'm doing like an intermittent fasting, and I'm like careful with what I eat just because my voice is the instrument. So I have to like not destroy it. And other than that, it's just rehearsals and constant texting each other and calling each other like, hey, what do you think of this idea? What about this idea? What should we wear? Like just keeping in touch and making sure our brotherhood is alive, because it's scary. It's very intimidating. This is a huge dream of all of ours since we're babies, but like very intimidating. So we just want to make sure we all know that we're there for each other.
So how did the stadium tour happen? I mean, this is like any rock artist's dream tour to like be a part of. So, Tommy Lee was obviously a fan of the band, but like, what was this process like? Was it a phone call that you got? Was it an email? Like, did you just wake up one day and saw yourself on the lineup? Like, what happened?
It was weird. Like, so we recorded maybe 7 of our songs at the Atrium, which is Tommy Lee's home studio. And we know it because Bob knows Tommy. He's, so recorded Tommy. So like, he's like, let's just record it at the Atrium. And we're like, okay. And that was like 3 years ago now. And like, so we did it. And then, so we got to like meet Tommy and like, bow to him. Like, hey, thanks for letting us in your home. And then I think that was that little initial spark kind of, he heard the songs in the studio. It wasn't really an audition then though, or anything. It was just more like, we were just in the space, and eventually we finally released this first single, and we sent it to our label heads, and they pitched it to the band and the management of Motley and everything, and we were like, all right, yeah, they just gave us a chance. As far as they gave us this chance, they let us know like a year ago, kind of like it's most likely going to happen, or like 2 years ago, like it can happen. And so this whole time we're like, it's not gonna happen. Come on. So it's just like, even to this day, like we're planning the route, and I'm still like, this is not. I'm like dead. I'm in heaven right now. So I still haven't fully like accepted it, but it's happening. So it was like in an email. I think it was also like on a Zoom call with our manager. He's just like, you guys are on the tour, and we're like, yay! But deep down, we were like, you're lying to us, but it's happening. So I don't know if that answers your question. I feel like I'm just kind of
that does. So obviously you guys will be testing out the new material on the tour. Can we expect the album around that time, or is this something that's still maybe in the works for later, the end of the year?
Expect the album for the stadium tour. The whole thing should be out for the stadium tour, so go ahead and stream it. Yeah, like in June, like mid-June, you'll have the album. But until then, we'll be throwing out singles and videos, and because we want people to try to sing along as we're up there,
So lastly, to close us off, what has been the biggest challenge so far? It feels like, the gates are opening for you guys and opportunities are flooding left and right. But where do you guys feel like you felt challenged during this entire process?
Just overall with recording and performing and getting ready, you mean?
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy because it just feels like I would just say everything, or like understanding everything. Like personally, my spirituality has changed now. So I'm like understanding myself as a thing. I think we're all just kind of like trying to just be so ready. I mean, I don't know. We just want to make sure we're good and tight and focused, because so much is happening. Since the announcement of the tour, we've been doing nothing but going into the studio, making music videos, recording, playing live to get better. And like, as soon as we're done, we go rehearse for the next thing. And like, so there's just non-stopness. So the biggest challenge is like, I'm like, realizing that like, that this train is moving. So we can't slow it down. We can't stop. We can't jump off. We just got to make sure it stays on the tracks, keeping the train on the tracks.
Right. You can't go back now. Like, this is what you signed up for. So get ready because it's not going to stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, dude, I'm so excited for your band. I'm so excited to finally get to talk to you. And I'm looking forward to seeing the live show once you guys are either here in Anaheim or in Inglewood. I believe that's where you guys are hitting for the stadium tour. So thanks again for taking the time to do this, man. And I look forward to reuniting again soon.
Absolutely. Wait, let me just show you guys my studio. I have this amazing studio here. Look at all my...
You can't have enough keys, right?
Nope, not at all. And I have I actually also put price tags on all my keyboards and stuff, just so you guys know. And
that's
I have
the
like
exclusive merch for the stadium tour.
Exactly. Yeah, I have like a whole acoustic room and a drum room, and I'm glad you guys could see my house. No, I'm just kidding. I'm at a Guitar Center, as you know, because even now I'm like, I gotta find the right mics. I'm finding a 58 Beta, and I have to get a this Sennheiser this, and I'm like, so you caught me in the middle of my tour run.
I'm glad I can be part of it. That's awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations, and I'm looking forward to more from you.
Thanks, Rob. All right, thanks, guys.